All right. Jaylo, Jaylo, Jaylo,
Yes.
Jaylo. That's my version of the Days of Our Lives theme song, the Alana Jaylo remix version with new lyrics.
Well, it can't be a remix because I wasn't the one singing it.
Like Jaylo's in the hourglass, these are the days of our lives.
Like sands through the hourglass, so are the days of our lives. I didn't watch that show much. I mean, I watched parts of it, but...
It came up in something we watched the other night.
Yes, it did.
Do you want to elaborate?
That was in Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
You had never seen that movie.
I have not seen it until last night.
Give me your thoughts on it.
Well, it's not like any sci-fi movie I ever saw from Steven Spielberg. Sci-fi meaning that and E.T. What others? Oh, Back to the Future.
He produced Back to the Future.
He produced Back to the Future.
Robert Zemeckis directed.
Sorry about that. I didn't mean to
throw my recording off.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Robert Zemeckis directed the Back to the Future films, but Steven Spielberg did work on them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, even though he did not direct it,
he still played a big part.
He still played a big part, but yeah, E.T. wasn't like that, and I thought it was very interesting how everything just went very, very chaotic, and then they used music. The way that they communicated with the aliens used music to put that melody in their head. Isn't that interesting?
Do you have anything else you want to say about it?
Yes, I do. I was surprised that they went home. They went home with the aliens in the spaceship. Especially the people that were praying.
Richard Dreyfuss was basically our entry point into this movie. He doesn't start it off, but we sort of get to identify of what people are going through his own experience. Mm-hmm. Do you have anything you want to say about Dreyfuss in this movie?
Dreyfuss?
Yeah.
So I thought it was really interesting that, you kind of see a glimpse of his relationship with his wife and his kids. Ronnie.
Played by?
A young Terry Garr.
Yes. It was not the first sci-fi thing that she was in.
What was the other one she was in?
She also appeared in the Star Trek episode Assignment Earth from the original series, shot in 1968.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Yeah. Terry Garr also guest starred on Friends. It was a very strange episode, but it was funny. A couple of episodes were funny.
Is that the one that also had Trudy Chase in it?
Why are we talking about Trudy Chase?
Sorry, go ahead.
She never did any acting. At least I don't know.
For 92%.
Should I clarify who Trudy Chase was?
I think most people already know, but go ahead.
So anyone that has never heard of Trudy Chase, she was a guest on the Oprah Winfrey Show in the early 90s, and she said that she believes that she has 92 split personalities because of the severe abuse she had from her stepfather.
Allegedly. We weren't there when that happened, but yes.
No, it was pretty brutal from what I understand.
But it was such a powerful episode. When we started hanging out in 2018, I started talking to you about this weird episode, and you immediately knew which one it was.
Yes, I did.
We both remembered it.
Yes, I did.
And
it was very disturbing.
When Oprah launched her podcast,
yeah,
the one where she puts old episodes of her shows up, I believe it was one of the first 5 or 10 episodes that she uploaded.
Wow, yeah. Okay. Yeah, and that was... So, I watched it again the other day, most of it, and I thought, I can't watch this. This is so disturbing. This is one of the most disturbing episodes I've ever seen.
But you did like her on Friends, though.
She wasn't on Friends.
Okay, I thought
Terry Garr was on Friends.
With
Trudy
Chase.
No, Trudy Chase was... Okay, Terry Garr guest starred on Friends.
But not with Trudy Chase.
As Lisa Kudrow's biological mother. But Trudy Chase did not, as far as I know, didn't do any acting jobs, and I think she's dead now.
Interesting. So let's get back to
let's
Close
get
Encounters.
Back. Let's get back to that before we go down a rabbit hole, because I know you like rabbit holes.
Oh my goodness. Tell me some more of your thoughts on the movie. Well, let me first say that, and I've told you this before, but not in this forum, Richard Dreyfuss has said in interviews he believes that Close Encounters of the Third Kind is the film of his that people will still be studying in 500 years.
Right. I think there is some truth to that. Because the way that they think, well, what would happen if aliens came to our planet, right? And, everything was, things were starting by themselves. Cars were starting by themselves. You know what I mean? Just things were blowing away, floating away. It was like out of the ordinary, and how they depicted it as to what it could have been like is really kind of interesting. You know what I mean? And how they incorporated music into it, because you know how much I love music.
Right.
How clever it was for them to come up with an interesting melody that the aliens put in the human's head. And then the mountain, remember when you told me about the picture of the mountain?
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
Should we give a little bit away?
Well, it's up to you.
Okay. I mean, spoiler alert, the film is over 40 years old. If people haven't seen it, stop this and go listen and go watch the film. It's a great movie. Okay, so Richard Dreyfuss, who plays Ray, along with a big group of people.
Actually, it's Roy.
Roy.
Yes.
Sorry, Roy.
Not Ray.
I always just refer to him as Dreyfuss.
It's Roy.
He's one of those people whenever I watch him, unless I watch him playing Dr. Leo Marvin in What About Bob, I always think of him as just Richard Dreyfuss.
Yeah.
So let's just call him Richard Dreyfuss. Let's just call him Dreif.
Dreif.
Okay. So Dreif is one of these people that is one of these many people who saw a spaceship. Mm-hmm. And when he saw it, they implanted this thought in his head that he needed to form something, but he couldn't figure out what it is. So there's this famous scene at the dinner table where his kids and his wife are passing around food, and the mashed potatoes comes to him, and Dreif tries to shape it like the image in his head. And he's working so hard. And there's this great part of the movie to where he realizes what he needs to do. He takes his trash and he starts throwing it into his kitchen and throws all this mulch and stuff in there, and his wife leaves him. So Dreif
with the kids, yeah.
Yeah, and Dreif is shaping this thing. And his wife calls, and she's talking with him on the phone about how she wants a divorce. At this moment, Dreif is watching...
I don't remember that part. Is it?
Yeah, it's in the movie, babe.
Okay.
And at the same part, Dreif is watching TV, and he sees that there's this mountain in Wyoming that looks like the image that he's been shaping.
Wow.
And then you see a few different pictures on other people's walls of the same image. Then, which is really cool, you see everybody congregating in Wyoming, and it's this huge crowd.
In the same spot.
Like a sea of humans.
Right.
And Dreif sneaks up to the mountain.
Right, and how massive that mountain is.
It was really interesting, the imagery they used.
Right, and this was like in 1970?
The film came out in 1977.
Okay. Yeah, and so this is where I thought it was very interesting. Towards the end of the movie, there were this group of people that were praying, and because they didn't know what was going on, and they went with Richard Dreyfuss, and whoever went decided to leave Earth and go on the ship.
Well, I think the reason they were praying is because they didn't know what was going to happen next.
Right. Yeah.
Because this was such an interesting experience, and I just love when he looks back at the Earth for the last time before he goes onto the spaceship.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of cool that while you see the aliens for a few seconds on screen, you don't really get to know them.
Nope, they're just little people.
Mm-hmm.
How small would you say they were? Like, were they like this as small as children?
It was kind of hard to tell, but it looked like they were the size of maybe like 3rd or 4th graders.
Oh.
Yeah.
They probably used like a lot of special effects for that. Yes.
And they weren't as advanced back then, as far as that
right,
stuff goes.
Exactly, yeah.
It's a really, really cool movie.
So, let me ask you a question, because I know you were telling me about how the alien was waving to the people.
Yeah.
Did he actually physically take Richard Dreyfuss on the ship with him? Or was it just like, a beckoning to him?
It was kind of like a beckoning. They were walking onto the spaceship.
Right.
And then Dreif turns around and he looks at the people around him, and then he goes into the spaceship.
And he leaves one of the main characters and her son.
Well, it's more than that. He's never
What
gonna.
is
It's
He's never
implied
going to see them.
that he won't
there.
see his kids again. I mean, we don't know. Maybe he came back like a couple of days later and was like, "Okay, the aliens really want some McDonald's, so we came back." But the impression I get is that he's leaving for
good.
If not for good, then for a very, very long time.
Right. Right. Yeah.
I also really love that they never made a sequel to this movie.
I think so too, because then you can kind of make up your own, thing about what could have happened or what should happen or why did that not happen. You kind of, if you really wanted to do, like if somebody wanted to make a fan fiction to make a sequel to Close Encounters of the Third Kind, they could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like that Steven Spielberg never said we need Close Encounters to
have closure.
Yeah, or Close Encounters of the Fourth Kind or the Fifth Kind.
It could be Closure Encounters.
They're not planning 10 sequels to the movie. The movie is what it is. The story was told.
Right.
Would you agree with Richard Dreyfuss that it's his best film?
Well, I haven't seen a lot of his things. I personally think, so that's one of his best films. I don't know if it's the best one, but so you have not seen Mr. Holland's Opus. I thought that was a brilliant movie.
Okay.
Very good. A lot of good music in it. His relationship with a young teenage student doesn't go far, but she wants to run away with him.
Hashtag me too. Go ahead.
She wants to run away with him, but he said no. But she was very good in the movie. I don't know what her name is, but she played a girl named Rowena. And, he's dealing with a lot of things, like what was going on with his son. I can't give it away,
His
but
son's deaf.
Yes, his son is deaf. And there is a Beatles song that was featured in the song, or at least he sang it, but it wasn't, I don't know if it was featured, it was played as a Beatles cover, but I liked his version of it in the movie. It's a great movie.
So you think that's his best film?
That's one of them.
Okay.
I don't know that Close Encounters of the Third Kind is his best movie because I didn't see a lot of Richard Dreyfuss stuff.
I liked it better than The Goodbye Girl.
I did not see that one, but I heard that one's a good movie.
He's great in The Goodbye Girl.
Yeah.
The problem is his love interest is batshit crazy.
Oh.
So it's a little bit unbelievable that they would hook up to me because she's so nutty.
Who is it?
I forget the actress's name. She's good in the role. I don't think it's her fault. I think it's the fault of the writing.
Okay. But you don't remember what her name is?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Right.
But he's great in that film. He's also great in What About Bob? I've seen him in other things. There's this movie called The Crew in the late 90s that was, it was okay. It wasn't that great. I'm going to make a statement that I know you're going to find controversial.
You always make controversial statements, but go on.
Not only do I think it's Richard Dreyfuss's best film, I think it's Steven Spielberg's best film.
Really?
Yes. And I know that it moves at a much slower pace than films do these days.
Yes, it does.
So you have to really wait for that payoff.
So you would even compare that to the Back to the Future films?
Oh yeah. I think it's better. I think the Back to the Future films are great. I think it's better. Put it to you this way: I don't have Steven Spielberg's filmography in front of me.
Right.
But out of the films I can think of that I know that he's worked on that I've seen, I think it's his best film.
Wow.
Yes.
Huh.
Yeah.
Because I like I said, I don't really have a lot to go on because I've only seen a few. But I really do think that Mr. Holland's Opus is brilliant. I do.
Better than Close Encounters.
I never said better.
Okay.
I said one of his best ones, but
Okay.
I never said better.
Richard Dreyfuss said Close Encounters is his best film.
Okay.
Like hands down his best film.
Okay.
And I would agree with it. But that's my opinion.
But I think Mr. Holland's Opus has a different kind of brilliance.
Okay.
But
That's fair. I haven't seen the picture, and maybe I should.
no. I really think that if we wanted to do a Richard Dreyfuss thing, we could do Mr. Holland's Opus and then What About Bob?
Yeah, I'm hesitant to also recommend The Goodbye Girl because he is brilliant in it, and the little kid is really good too. And it's not that the woman who plays the love interest isn't good, but her character is just so annoying and so grating
Oh, really?
that I don't know if I can recommend the movie just
It's
because
kind
of
of
that.
like nails on a chalkboard.
Yeah, it's and again, you can't blame her. You have to blame the writing.
Right.
If her character was written better, I'd recommend it in a heartbeat. But it's very close. But I love What About Bob? I love Mr. Holland's Opus. I've heard that he's good in Jaws.
You haven't watched Mr. Holland's Opus.
I just said I heard that he's good in Mr. Holland's Opus.
Okay.
You weren't paying attention.
No, I did. I thought you said that you loved Mr. Holland's Opus, and you said I heard he was good in Jaws.
Did I say I love
Yes,
Mr.
you
Holland's
did.
Opus?
You said I love
Oh, I
Mr.
might have
I'm
said
like,
that.
no. You didn't watch Mr. Holland's Opus.
Okay.
And he also didn't watch Jaws.
Okay, fair point.
There.
But we do have to do a Dreyfus night one time.
Right, Dreyfus.
Yes. Dreyfus.
Now there is a movie I do want to talk about, which I thought was also brilliant.
I think this film is we're going to talk about my favorite Woody Allen movie, which I know some people are going to think is a controversial pick.
Right.
It is a film called Anything Else. This was the first. You saw it last night after hearing me rave about it for, I don't know, God only knows how long. What did you think? Did it live up to the hype?
Yes, it did actually.
Good.
And so far you've shown me really good movies.
Nice.
So yeah, Anything Else, and I for some reason I did not ever watch this movie, and I watched a few Christina Ricci movies. I have I told you about my feelings about Jason Biggs' character. It was with Jason Biggs, Christina Ricci, Woody Allen, Danny DeVito.
And some other people, but
And I don't know who played her. I don't know who played Christina Ricci's mother, but she was really. Her character was kind of annoying, but she was funny. She was very funny. Very, very funny in the movie. But I have a real issue with men that don't have a backbone.
Do you want to give a little bit of a description? Because it's a great movie, but I don't think it's one that a lot of people saw.
Okay. So, Jason Biggs' character, if I remember correctly, is a comedy writer, correct?
Yes.
His name is Jerry Folk. He's a comedy writer. And he meets some guy named David Dobell, who is played by Woody Allen. And this is a weird older guy. And he's trying to figure out, what to do with his life and writing comedy routines. And his manager is played by Danny DeVito. Don't tell me what his last name is, or his name is, because I don't remember.
I don't either.
He's a Jewish guy. And
he was a member of one of the lost tribes that should have stayed lost.
And David Dobell is supposed to be some kind of his older mentor. Meanwhile, he's got this neurotic girlfriend named Amanda, who's played by Christina Ricci, and she's really funny in this.
Oh my God, she's brilliant.
She is so funny
But
in this movie.
You already know how much I love Christina Ricci.
Yeah, she's really good.
Yeah.
But she, she's got all these hang-ups. She thinks she's really fat. And she keeps on eating like a whole bunch of stuff, and she keeps saying she's going to diet. And he's having problems with her. And she, especially that one scene where she's late to their own anniversary dinner.
That's great.
Come to find out, she already ate, including the eggs in their house. And then they flash back to how they met each other, which I don't know. I mean, I don't know if his girlfriend Brooke was clueless about this, but. Don't you think that, like, after he agreed with her so many times during that night that they were out with her and her boyfriend, that when he was agreeing with her, then she should have figured out, wait a minute, something's wrong here.
It's definitely obvious as a viewer that he was... Thank you for hitting my recorder again, babe.
You're welcome.
Yes.
That was an accident, by the way.
Okay. That he was into Christina Ricci's character. Having said that, we don't know Brooke's relationship with him, and Brooke might also think that Jerry can't really get anybody else.
Right. And he had this, he said earlier that he just doesn't know how to leave a person, doesn't know how to leave. And you find out later that Amanda has admitted that she doesn't know how to commit. So... Kind of bad from the start.
There's so many great scenes in that movie, too. I love when she's like, couldn't you tell that I was interested in you by the way I was ignoring you?
What about that one scene, which really made me laugh, is when Woody Allen's character David Dobell end up in their house, and he gets
The gun.
he gets him a gun, a rifle. He convinces him to get a rifle to leave in his house, and then Christina Ricci's mom comes in, and she's like, sir, would you help me move this piano, move a piano?
That was great.
And he's like, sir, could you just? He goes, yes, yes, yes. Make your requests known. Whatever you want me to do, just make your request known. And then she's like, sir, could you please pivot this? Pivot with me. Just pivot.
I love the scene where Jason Biggs confronts Amanda on cheating. And we'll get to my thoughts on Biggs in a minute.
Yes.
Because I have a lot of thoughts on
I do too.
Okay. And he's confronting her, and she says, well, I just wanted to see if it was you or me, or if I could have an orgasm with somebody else, so I did it for you. And there's good news. I am able to have an orgasm.
And she's like, I'm excited, very excited, so excited that I can. It's something about clawing the walls, and I'm like, wow, okay, clawing the walls. But it was like she was funny, but her character was like so self-centered.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It was like her. It was nothing. Him. They had issues anyway, but he wasn't a good liar for once, because when Brooke found a hair on him, and he came home at like 4:00 in the morning, right? And he was saying, "Oh yeah, I was late, and I had a meeting with such and such, or I had to do this." Well, he couldn't lie. And then when he confronts her, right? Yeah, you get to the part about him confronting her, because I think it's kind of a funny scene, actually.
When he confronted Christina Ricci?
When he confronted Amanda, yes.
I think we already talked about that scene.
No, he didn't. You said you were going to talk about it. Did we talk about that?
We just talked about it, where he confronted her and she says the thing about the orgasm.
Wait. What we didn't talk about was what he said about, he asked her, so where were you today? Oh, I was at a girlfriend's apartment. It's like, no, you weren't. Well, how do you know that? Because I spied on you.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, okay, if you're going to confront somebody, you might want to,
be a little bit more subtle.
Be a little more subtle about it. Don't just like come out and say, oh yeah, I was spying on you.
Danny DeVito is. I love the first scene when you meet him and he's trying to give this analogy to the executives, but he has to correct his words.
Yes. Yeah.
And then the two restaurant scenes with him are great. Where he's like, a lot of agents, they have multiple clients, but I took you under my wing. You're just an 18-year-old kid. Everybody said that I shouldn't have done it, but I did.
I did, yeah.
And things are working out great. I have a new contract for you. It's not a 3-year contract. The only difference is it's 7 years. So we don't have to go through this, because we already know we're going to be together for life. And then the next scene where he comes back.
And by then the contract is already,
torn up by Woody Allen.
Yeah.
He sits down and he's like, sorry I'm late. My mother's having thyroid issues.
Well, what about, and then he's like, I don't think I'm going to, I'm moving to California. Anyway, I'm moving. He goes, I'm moving.
I'm not going to need your services.
I'm not going to need your services. And he's like, what? My life is over. And he's acting like he's breaking up with them. Like, yes. You're dumping me.
And the entire restaurant starts to look at him, and he
breaks stuff.
He sees Woody Allen, he grabs him, and he's like, he's breaking up with me. Can you believe this? He falls over, he fakes a heart attack. I like the final scene with Woody Allen where he gives that story about the cops.
Yeah.
I don't want to give it away, but that's great. And then the scene where Jason Biggs and Amanda are splitting up, and he says, I'm moving to LA, and she's like, I'm going to get it wrong, but it's something to the effect of, that's great, Jerry. There are a lot of really dumb people who can't make it here in New York that become millionaires out there. I thought that was so brilliant of a line.
I thought it was funny because it's almost like she's telling him that he's dumb. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Oh, you'll make it out there. You're dumb enough.
It's a passive aggressive way of saying it.
Passive aggressive, yep. Without actually saying it.
Okay, what do you think of my criticism of Jason Biggs?
So I haven't seen a lot of Jason Biggs stuff. You and I are not American Pie movie fans.
I've seen the first two
We're
films,
not
but I
American
haven't
Pie
really.
fans.
I seen them years and years ago, and they didn't really strike me as something that I needed to remember.
Yeah, I didn't think they were that great either, and I always got a lot of flack because I did go to band camp, and this was like years before it came out.
And there's a certain character based on you played
No,
by
it wasn't.
the great
No,
Allison Hannigan.
no, she
but they
was
toned
not.
it
No,
down
she was not based on me.
because they thought that it would be too
that
unbelievable.
That is a lie.
If they talked about all the
is
real
a
stuff.
lie.
Anyways, let's get back to the story.
That's a lie. That is not
Let's
true.
get back to the story. Anyhow.
It's not true.
Back to
You're
Biggs.
making up stories again.
Let's get back to Jason Biggs real quick.
Okay, Jason Biggs for one has no backbone. He can't say no. He can't leave a
Well,
person.
let me give my criticism of Jason Biggs before we get to this.
Yes, and I agree
particular
with you on
character.
that. Yes.
Okay. We already established our feelings on American Pie.
Yes.
Christina Ricci, I think, is a brilliant actress. She was in a film called Prozac Nation, and her boyfriend in that film was played by one Jason Biggs. Basically, he plays a neurotic writer who's dating a crazy woman in Prozac Nation. There's a show called Orange is the New Black.
Mm-hmm.
He plays a neurotic writer who's dating a crazy person.
Oh, he's in that one too.
He's in Orange is the New Black.
Okay, who's his girlfriend in that one?
The main character in season 1, Piper.
Okay.
And he's a neurotic writer who's dating a crazy woman.
In the prison.
No. He dates her before she goes to prison.
Ah, okay.
And then they kind of have this off and on thing when she goes in.
Right. Okay.
So, it's like he just plays the same character.
He doesn't evolve.
He doesn't evolve. He's good as that character, but when he's around somebody like Christina Ricci, who I feel is, you already know my feelings, I think she's super talented.
She is. Yes.
She kind of like, not overpowers him, but whenever she's on screen, I find myself like more captivated by her performance, because to me she's doing something more original than he is.
Mm-hmm. And she can, and she really can act.
Yeah, and he's good in the movie, but it's like it's just he's playing the same character that it feels to me like he always plays: neurotic writer dating a crazy person. You know.
Right.
So those are my thoughts on Biggs. Now you wanted to talk a little bit about his character.
He just frustrated me. He kind of annoyed me because he can't lie. He acts like he's nervous, like he can't stand up for himself. He lets his crazy girlfriend Amanda walk all over him. He couldn't just leave Brooke, but clearly he was attracted to somebody else. And he was a wimp. He really was. He was a wimpy character.
Yes.
And then when Woody Allen's character decides to back out on him, he would not put his foot down. He wouldn't put his foot down. He just was like, "Wait a minute, no, you said blah 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 blah."
I love the story Woody Allen tells him
Yes.
to get out of it. We don't want to give everything away.
No, it was just really really funny. But this is probably the only Woody Allen movie that I liked, and I don't know much of his stuff either. But
Annie Hall was okay, but I think this is his best film.
I don't think I saw Annie Hall.
We got to watch that sometime.
What is that one?
I don't want to give too much away. I don't want to go into it right now, but it's a good film.
Okay. Who was in it?
I believe it's been years. I believe it was what's her name? The one Mariel Hemingway. Again, Mariel Hemingway.
Mariel Hemingway.
Yes.
Okay.
So that was Anything Else? A great film.
It was a great film.
Tonight we are going to watch a film that neither of us have seen, but I'm excited to watch. Hoop Dreams, the documentary.
Yes.
Which the great Roger Ebert declared the best film of the 1990s.
Yeah, and it must be good. It sounds. I mean, I've heard of it, but I have not seen it.
Wouldn't be something if it just like sucks beyond belief.
Right. I mean, if Siskel or Ebert gives it a thumbs up, then it's got to be good.
Well, it was more than that. He said it was the best film of the 90s.
Wow.
That's high.
The
praise.
early 90s, yes.
No, he said the 90s.
The 90s?
Yep.
Wow.
That's high praise from Ebert.
That is.
Yep.
It is.
Then we're going to watch a classic.
A classic that both of us always liked ever since we were teenagers, called Clueless.
We get to hear about Sporadicus.
Yeah, that's right. Which is supposed to be Spartacus.
I am Sporadicus.
and how Alicia Silverstone's character thought that Brittany Murphy's character was so adorably clueless.
That's such a great movie.
I forgot who the guy's name was, the one that played Christian. Justin something. He was so good in that one, too.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, everybody was good in that movie, really.
That's a great movie.
Yes. Right.
Babe.
Yes.
I'm rushing things wrong because I do know that we have to wrap up soon.
Yes.
But before then, you've been having dreams.
I have. Yes, I have.
Would you like to share some?
Well, so Friday morning I wake up and I'm scared, okay? And I haven't woke up scared in a really long time. And I had this dream that you and I were at some kind of event. I think there was some music playing or something, and naturally we would dance with each other in public. No matter where the music was coming from, it didn't matter. And I thought, okay, that's cool. We could do that. Well, everything stops for whatever reason, and this big dog, I feel this big dog, next to standing next to me. And without any warning, the dog tries to go after one of my hands, like he tries to bite my fingers off. And I'm screaming because I don't know what to do. Somehow my hand ends up in his mouth. It was my left hand in the dream. And I'm like, what's going on? I'm thinking to myself, what are we gonna do? And then I wake up scared because I'm terrified. And I'm like, why am I dreaming about a big scary dog? Because I love dogs. I think dogs are just really, really great. And I don't know why I had that dream.
Nice.
Yes. And I thought I had a dream last night and I completely forgot about it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
Just one thing.
Tell me.
Since I got my Echo Dot hooked up about a couple weeks ago, okay, and yes, it was a long time coming.
Oh, we can get into this.
What?
We can get into this if you want to. Go ahead.
Because I've had this for almost 2 years, and I know, ridiculous, right? And I was kind of a little bit worried about getting it hooked up.
So what happened, if I could give some background.
Yes.
Alana's aunt, whose name we won't say.
No.
Gave her Echo Dot for Christmas back in 2018.
Yep.
And every time I'd call her, I'd say, hey, babe, did you hook up your Echo Dot? And she'd be like, oh, no, yeah, okay.
I was having problems.
And then I'd ask her again, and she'd be like, oh, I'm going to do that, okay, stop nagging. And then I'd ask her again, and she'd be like, go and do it off the phone, okay? And then finally I just got to say, well, babe, if you don't want it, I'll take it. And she'd be like, no, I'm going to hook it up one day, okay?
Well, and I'm kicking myself for it because I'm like, why didn't I just have somebody just hook it, hook
I
it
love
up
the
to
Echo. So finally, of course, never trust a woman to do a man's job.
Hey.
I come over and I hook it up for you.
Hey.
Did I hook it up for you, babe?
You did, but your other comment was not very nice.
Sorry, hashtag
very
me.
Inflammatory towards women.
Hashtag me too.
Ah.
So I hook it up for you. And now, what are your thoughts on the Echo Dot?
So I like I like the cool thing about podcasts because I can ask for pretty much any podcast that I want, and it'll play it for me. And then stations around the world. I actually the other day was playing some Hawaiian stations.
Which is mostly good, except for that little kid.
Oh yeah, that was bad. I don't know what that was, but that was really bad.
Yeah.
But otherwise,
little kid sang a song that was god awful.
A little kid. I don't know what the name of the person was or whatever. It doesn't matter because we didn't listen to the whole thing.
Yeah.
It was so bad.
Not all kids are talented, but keep going, babe.
No, but usually if a kid's on the radio, that there's something. Most of the time, there's a reason why they're on the radio.
And there is a reason. That kid's father is a program director of the station.
I wouldn't say that because we really don't know who that person is.
We don't know. I'm making that up.
He's making it up.
I say that in jest.
He makes a lot
keep going, babe.
of things up in jest.
Keep going, babe.
Anyway, so I like that. I also, like the, I could ask them, like I just asked the Dot about mourning doves, and I really like the sound of mourning doves because I've been hearing a lot of mourning doves during the day, and mourning as in crying, not mourning as in the morning. And I really thought it was really cool. And does a lot of things, but I do have to remember that it is just a device. But it is helpful. That's what all I have to say about that.
Very cool, babe. Is there anything else you wanted to mention?
Ooh.
All right, Jaylo.
Watch our videos that were uploaded.
Yeah.
Whoever is watching it, and I have to check on those too because I haven't watched some of them.
Just because Alana can get away with not watching them doesn't mean you can.
What?
Anybody listening?
I never said that.
Okay.
I just said just look out for them.
Okay, good.
That's what I said.
Okay, good.
Well, just because I haven't watched them, it doesn't mean that you can't watch them either.
I upload them, babe.
Yeah, but you should watch them too, just to see if it came out right.
Okay.
Don't just depend on me.
Okay. All right, babe.
Okie dokie.
Are we good?
We are good.
All right, till next time.
Over and out.
Over and out. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.